Hey, while you watch today's video, don't freak out because we're not socially distancing. Because I promise you, we actually are socially distancing.
We're totally social distancing. In fact, the episode you're about to watch was just so good, we couldn't keep it to ourselves, and we recorded it months ago before COVID struck.
Yeah, and like she said, it's so good. We just didn't want to be selfish and keep it to ourselves anymore. So enjoy today's episode. It is fantastic. You're going to get so much out of it. And stay 6 feet away. No, just stay 6 feet away.
Or farther.
Oh, wait, maybe this way.
All right, enjoy the episode, guys.
I have a confession. I spent all morning this morning with a bunch of men on my bed, waxing balls with a new set of gloves. And they kept breaking.
Ooh.
Ah, who's been there?
Ooh. Ooh.
Hi, I'm Sybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses. Running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it out. But we promise you everything we know about how to get 6 figures.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
Oh my God, I'll be honest. So much of it sucks, but let's go ahead and get started.
Yes, welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we are talking about how to price your services to make all the monies in the world, but specifically if you should get other people's advice on pricing and how to really look at your competition's pricing.
Also, I'm going to give you my secret on what it takes to make clients feel super duper special. There's a way, and there's a way to do it with the pricing. All right, so let's get on into it.
Money mind games.
Yeah, it's totally true. And we just actually talked about a bunch of money mind games before we started the show. Alex here actually has been working on pricing.
Oh, yes, I have.
Yes, if you've been following us, you know that she has been...
I know, it's really been like the whole journey from zero to not...
Zero to hero.
Yes, zero to hero.
Right?
Yeah.
She has been working on her Movement Mavens group and trying to make that profitable. And so how'd it go?
It went really well. Like Stripe, my payment processor, said I have a 479% increase in ongoing income compared to last month. So it's working. And so much of it came back to pricing. So what I did, we'll just go into it right now. So about 6 weeks ago, I had a enrollment period, and I sold approximately zero.
It was really sad. It was a dark time.
It was a very dark time, and we recorded our episode about failure. It felt very raw and real. It was so great. Also, thank you for listening to these episodes because they've been so therapeutic for me. I hope they're also enjoyable for you.
They've also had me thinking. They've had me thinking about stuff. So good for all of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things, and we'll talk about it a little bit more today, but I went back to all of my marketing to really look at how I was talking about my product because I was selling the features. I was like, yeah, but you're going to get this coaching call and you're going to get this box of stuff. And that's not sexy.
That's not. So actually, I'm going to cut in for just 1 second. So I just took a microcurrent class where this exact same thing came up. And people are like, microcurrent is something that's hard to understand. Everybody watching is like, I know what microcurrent is. You don't. You probably don't either. We all don't know what microcurrent is.
I was trying to explain it to a friend.
Yeah, it's impossible to explain. None of us understand it.
But, like electricity?
But so people have these huge descriptions of it, right? And really what you need is it naturally lifts and tones.
Yeah.
It makes you glow. It'll anti-age wrinkles.
Yes.
Erase wrinkles.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's what we worked on for part of this workshop was actually learning how to just describe it to people without being like, yes, but when the gate opens and the mitochondria.
But that's exactly it. You as an expert know so much more about what your product, what your service, what it actually does. The consumer off the street knows none of that, and all they care about is what's in it for them.
And so what book did you read that really helped you kind of understand this?
Well, I'll get to these books in a moment because there's a deeper discussion that we're going to get into. That's at the bottom of the notes. Hold on.
But sometimes people are like, I want to know now.
I know they want to know now.
I'll be on Amazon on that now.
I know. Well, I mean, it's surprising, I think. The book I read really that made a big shift for me was about getting my own shit figured out. And the book is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And I'll talk more about that
You also
later.
read something called The Storybrand, I believe, or something like
that was happening at the same time. Yeah, Storybrand by a man with a name.
We'll find it. It'll be in the show notes.
We'll look it up.
Which is the one I was like, yes.
Yeah. So Storybrand is all about, thank you for reminding me about that. I totally forgot about that one.
I didn't remember until we had this conversation.
About, again, making your client, the end user, the hero of the story. You are not the hero of the story.
We're going to repeat that.
You are not the hero of the story. And if you're talking about your service as if you and your widget are the hero of the story, your end user, they don't see themselves in the story and they don't want to use it.
I love that a widget would be a hero. My widget is so hot right now.
Like it opens the channels and the mitochondria get excited and then you have, I don't even.
Stuff happens.
Stuff happens. Yeah.
But yeah.
So talking about the user, what are they going to get? What do they want to do? What is the end result for them? And here, let me be your guide and guide you through and show you the way. You know, it's not my story, it's your story. So anyways, I redid all my marketing. I literally rewrote, sales scripts, emails, webinars, like all of the thing. And then when it came time to open enrollment again, as just happened, last time we recorded, I was in the middle.
Yep.
So now that enrollment period has ended, and I had 12 new people sign up.
Wait, 0 to 12?
Yeah, 479% increase.
Wait, and did you charge more money?
No, I charge less. Yeah.
Okay.
So another thing, and we can talk more about it, is I went back and asked all my people when they didn't buy at the 0 time, what's the deal? Why didn't you buy? I won't take it personally. And everybody said pricing. And so if your people are complaining about pricing, chances are either your price is just too damn high, which we'll talk about, or number 2, you're not selling them on the value. You're telling them about, here's what it can do. And this is like the fancy feature and the bed goes up and down. And they're like, yeah, but what will my face look like when I'm done?
And I think it's important to remember that we're going to talk about both sides of the coin. Like sometimes you're not charging enough, which we've been both there.
Oh my God, yes.
And sometimes you might be charging too high.
Yeah.
And kind of how to solve that problem or know maybe where the middle ground is.
Yeah. And also whatever price you end up choosing, it's not like you're not married to it.
It's not set in stone. We'll talk to you about ways that you can fix that too.
Yeah. Or you can break your business because I think that's your story when it comes to pricing.
So I spent... it was a few years ago. I decided that I took this amazing class. So this is the revolutionary class I took. I was at a Las Vegas show. We've been there. And
Skinfessional.
Right. It was one of those early classes that nobody takes, which, by the way, are always the best ones. Sundays at 9 a.m., always the best classes.
Really?
Really honest to goodness because nobody's in them. So I took this class and essentially it was like how to accept client notes. And I was like, I mean, I do pretty good client notes, but like you can always be better. Mm-hmm. So I took this class and I honestly have no recollection of what this class was about. Because it started like this. It started with the lady's like, okay, so when we're talking about client notes, you're trying to find out what you're missing because you want to make sure that there's no disservice in your service. Mm. Okay, she says the words disservice in your service, which has always stuck with me because then she goes like this. How many people in this room brush their teeth? How many people floss? Now, mind you, it was not that many people who flossed. We are apparently very good at our dentistry.
Obsessed with dental hygiene.
But out there, did you raise your hand when you flossed? And then she looked around the room. She goes, okay, so you noticed that a bunch of people brush their teeth, but not that many people floss. She goes, the reason why is because your parents made you brush your teeth, but they didn't make you floss. Mm. And she goes, and that was a disservice in their parenthood. And it's because either they didn't know to do it or they just didn't want to struggle with it or whatever. But she goes, you're doing the same thing in your business by not making sure that you are taking the best care of your clients by giving them the service that they need, not the service that they want. Mm-hmm. And I tuned out the rest of the class and just was like blowing my mind. This idea blew my mind.
Yeah, where you have those moments and you're just like, oh my God.
Right?
Yeah.
She's like, why are you doing small, tiny microservices like adding on, the neck and the décolleté? She goes, do those need to be healthy? Do you do them to yourself? Then yeah, they need to be done. Are you giving people like, well, I should upgrade you this mask because you need it, but they're like, no, and you're like, okay, well, fine. And you know that they're leaving with shitty skin. And I was like, oh my God. And I started getting like a cold sweat. And I was like, oh my God, this is my client. She knows my life. Right? And so I sat down afterwards and I was like, where is the disservice in my service? And I realized that the disservice in my service was that although I did customized facials, I was limiting myself by price. I was like, my clients can only afford this much money, and therefore I can only give them this service. Whereas I really needed to be like, I am the professional. I know what you need. And if you want to have the best results, which is why you're coming to me, because I know what's best for you. I'm your parent. I'm going to make you floss so you don't have freaky teeth when you're old. I'm going to make sure that you're doing the best thing for you.
Hashtag no freaky teeth.
And so I included the neck. And this was the thing for me. I included the neck and the décolleté in the treatments, and I increased my prices. And then 2 years later, I realized that I realized that my hydrofacial machine was actually the best thing I should be doing for people, but it was way more expensive. And I know I talk about hydrofacial machine all the time. My hydrofacial machine is the best and I love it. Not sponsored.
She's right there.
Yeah, not sponsored by it.
But if you want to.
Right. So I went out and I thought about how much the price would be. And I realized that I had to increase my prices by 150% to give my clients, I'm getting very much. I told Alex I'd get emotional about this. 150%, I had to increase 150% the price.
Was it like material-wise or like what was the decision?
It was, I wanted to do, hydrofacials cost more money. So
Right.
yeah, they cost significantly more. Like my other facial would be like $2 to $3 and they're like $10 to $15. All right. Also, I knew that I wanted to be able to add additional services onto them. Like I knew in the future I'd have microcurrent. I knew, like I was looking at all these other things and I knew that at that point I needed to think ahead, think like a general, another episode at some point, think like a general and be like, what is my future in 5 years? And 5 years from now, I'm going to want a facial that's expensive because that's the people that are going to come in to get the job done. Those are the people I want. I'm not going to have the clients anymore who are like, I'm just here to get a deep cleaning. Somebody else can serve those clients. I, with my knowledge and what I know how to do, am doing those clients a disservice.
So did you change like your ideal customer?
I kind of changed my ideal customer. I thought about that I was going to be changing my ideal customer. I think that at that
Down the
point,
line.
yeah, down the line. So like I would be over time changing my ideal customer because 150%, I was going to lose clients. And I
Right.
knew it. And clients I like, not barnacles. Clients I like. Clients I like.
Because we also have talked that you would raise prices when your books would get full, but not 150%.
No, not 150%. That's a whole nother thing.
Right.
So this is the simple thing. If you are at capacity, if you are booking out even 4 weeks in advance, but quite frankly, I like to do like a little hedge 6 to 8 weeks in advance. If you're booking out that far in advance, if you only have 10% of room left on your book, you need to be raising your prices. It's as simple as that. The normal thing is if you raise by 10%, you'll lose 10% of clients and you'll still make that 10% back.
And be working less.
And still be working less.
Yeah.
And also gives you room to get more clients. At the time that I made the decision, was at not capacity, I was close to capacity. I was loving what I did, but I knew that I wanted to work less.
Yeah.
I was working a ton of hours.
Yeah, you were.
I wanted to just not work 12-hour days, 6 days a week to get all my clients in. And I mean, I was making really good money. At this point, I was making like $230,000 a year. I was making good money, but like
At what cost?
It was so many hours.
Yeah.
It was just so many hours.
So I'm also thinking too, like, the clients you were serving then and this realization that you had, was it more so like, I want to do more with these people and also knowing down the line that I eventually want to outgrow them?
You know, I don't know if I conscientiously knew that I was going to outgrow them. I knew that I wanted to work less, and I knew that I wanted to give them the best. The clients that were going to come to me were going to be clients who wanted the very best for themselves.
Right.
And maybe that was going to become a different client.
Right.
But I don't think at that time I actually had conscientiously thought about that.
Yeah, well, and I totally resonate with that too, of just like having clients who like they come and you see them and it's fun and they leave and you're like,
right,
it wasn't my best work because
you're not allowing me to do my best work. You're also not as involved as I want you to be with the work that I'm doing with you. Like I care more than you care.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And that doesn't make them bad people and they can still be great clients. But I think that you're right. Like I was transitioning, whether I realized it or not, transitioning to a different kind of client in my mind.
Yeah.
One that really cared about themselves and wanted the very, very best.
Yeah. And raising your prices had to happen.
And raising my prices had to happen. And and I actually just spoke to one of my mentees, and we just had this exact same conversation. And I was like, girl, let me tell you about the year that I raised my prices 150%. So she came to me and she's like, Sybil, I want to start doing more holistic work, but my facials are getting longer. And what happens when facials get longer is you actually make less money per minute, right? Because we make money per time.
Right.
So you have to actually start charging way more. And that's what I discovered. I had it increased by 150%. She goes, Sybil, I'm going to have to charge so much more. I'm like 150% increase. That's what it's going to wind up being. Not a double. More than that. And she goes, yeah. I'm like, well, you're spending more time and also you're using more things. And she goes, yeah. And then she's like, I'm going to lose clients. I'm like, yeah. So let me tell you about the year I broke my business. And I do. To this day, I call it the year I broke my business. I lost like 65% of my clientele. It was horrifying. I looked at my book and it was just a wasteland.
So empty.
It was such a wasteland. And we have a whole episode on failure.
But now you're on the other side of it, too.
Yeah. We have a whole episode on failure. I felt I was super close to that. It was really hard. But I knew that I was doing the right thing for me. And it was probably really only a 3 to 4 month period that seemed horrible. And I was running my numbers, so I knew I was still doing okay. I was still making a profit. I was still making money. But when you're making a lot of money and then it drops down, you still feel that in your business.
Oh, God,
and when
you
see emptiness in your book, it just feels stressful. So I had all of that. And I started, by the 4th month, I knew that I was doing okay because I started to get in new clients. Now, at the same time, mind you, I was also doing more advertising and everything for this new kind of treatment that I was doing. And so I started getting new clients in, whatever. But it was a full year before I filled up my books again. And I felt like I was becoming profitable. And I made more money that year than I made the previous years. But while I didn't understand that until I got to the end of it. It just felt horrible.
Yeah.
So understand that when you do this, you might, like when you look at your money, run your numbers, it helps, but you will still feel like it's a wasteland sometimes. It's okay. Like I almost just broke down again about it because it was so intense.
Well, and now that you're on the other side of it, like what would you do differently next time? Or if you could go back in time?
Well, I did it a second time. So I've done it a second time, and I did it better the second time. So what I did the second time was I prepared myself for it mentally. And I also...
Because you knew the waistline was coming.
I knew the waistline was coming. Like, I had things to do. I gave myself stuff to do. I also pre-marketed it. So I pre-marketed services. So I blocked out time in my book. And because I wasn't working as many hours at that point, I blocked out new time on my book. So I'm like, okay, this Saturday of the month and this it was like these hours on Friday and these evenings on Thursday are only for this new service. They're only for this service and I'm going to fill it. And I gave myself the goal of filling it. And I wouldn't fill it with the existing clients because I needed to get new clients.
So you like gamified it for yourself.
I did. And I'm like, and there's nothing like having a goal and like pushing. Because the other thing is when a new client calls and they want to get on, if you don't have the space, it's a client that you can lose.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that although it wasn't super simple to get on my book, it was still more available than like, I'll see you in 8 weeks.
Right.
It's like, I can get you in 3 or 4 days. Right. For these clients. Because I believed in that service so much.
There's something to be said, too, about, anytime you want to step into something bigger or make some big change, you have to make space for that to happen. So exactly like you're saying of like, let me prep my books, let me make space for those new people to come in. Because if there's not space for them, like you literally don't have it.
Yeah.
And this is something that happens physically, like on your calendar, but also energetically.
Yeah.
Like you have to become the person who charges the rates that you want to charge, who does that service you want to do before you start doing it.
Yeah.
Because you can't attract it otherwise.
You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. And I want to say I never thought about it like that. But like, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. So even with like a less tangible, like an online business, it was like, okay, so, what tools do I need to have in place? Like what rituals throughout my day I need to have?
You started waking up earlier. You started...
Yeah.
you did all kinds of things.
all kinds of things. Just, respecting my time. Because like imagining when I am a business owner and I have 150 members in my membership and not just 13.
More time.
How will who do I need to be that person, and let me be that person right now so that I'm already ready, so that I'm not sitting in the wasteland just like, oh my God, like what did I do? What's happening? Or constantly scrambling and trying to figure stuff out. Like really, I really, and like you did, because you did a second time, like sit down. Who do you need to become to be the person you want to be? Like what does that person do? What does that person spend their time doing? Like all of those things, they matter as well.
Right. And I think, so for me, I know that for me, I based it around like a new service, a new thing that I was doing. And that's why I want to talk for a second about when I create a new thing. So like for menus, I create a menu when I'm creating a new service. I get rid of everything that I have in existence. I tear it down. And I always say it so people can't compare apples to apples on prices.
Oh, totally.
So it's apples to oranges. And I know we've done this many times. I'm like, don't call it something new, and it's totally new, even if it's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and apples to oranges makes things look more enticing. So it's actually something I did with my pricing too. I kept my original price. So for my membership, it was $197 a month, and everyone's, not everyone, a lot of people are like, that's too much, and they wouldn't pay that. So I offered another level of $67 a month. That became the standard. And if you wanted VIP, that was $197. And so when you have a big jump like that between prices, it makes the higher price look like an even better deal, but it also makes the lower price look like an even better deal.
And also for the people who can't, who are like, that $197 is scary. They're like, well, $67 is
it's not bad.
I could do that.
Yeah.
And so how did you find that pricing?
Well, the $197 I pulled out of my ass, and I don't recommend you choose pricing that way.
That's the best way to do it. Never do that. Don't ever do that.
Don't do that. I had a one-on-one client at that time who, I said, oh, this is how much it is a month. And she's like, well, what if I paid this much a month? And I was like, sure, okay. So in my head, I was like, well, $500 is the most somebody would pay. So $197 seems like a good thing.
Legit.
When it comes to pricing, like, I don't think it's bad to start low, but tell yourself, like, ahead of time, again, like, who do I need to become? When I hit this many members, the price is going up. Like, already map that out so you know where you want to go and at what, intervals it's going to be. Because 67, like, that's not where I'm going to stay. I know. Like, I've just decided right now, God is my witness and all of you friends. Once I hit 50, that's jumping up to 97.
There you go. You hear it here.
Yeah.
And when you hit 50, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So for sure. And then...
But this apples to oranges is super important.
Apples to oranges. Also, I want to go back to your pricing because I talked about raising prices, but lowering prices, which is something I usually don't do, but it does happen sometimes. So for me, I don't per se lower prices, but like I'll be like, I might have priced that too high for right now, so I'm not going to discount.
No,
but I'm going to add special pricing right now for clients who can't afford it. Mm-hmm. And that is something I actually do individual pricing. And we talked about making clients feel special. Mm-hmm. That is one way I do it. Mm-hmm. So I have individual pricings. I look at my clientele, and this is mostly for solos. If you're on a big spa, this is probably never going to work for you. But like when you see your individual clients, you can go like, okay, this person, you know what? I know that they're like, they've wanted to try this service. They've wanted to try it so hard. I don't have any branch specials for everybody, but I'm like, you know what, girl? I'm running a special right now, a promo for you. If you would like to try this facial that we've talked about a bunch of times, I'm going to offer it to you for this price. Because you're just trying to incentivize them to try it because you probably know they're going to love it. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, if they're like, I'm never going to be able to afford that ever in my million life in my years, that's not the client. But you know that there's always that person who wants to do it. Alex, did I sell you a cream once? Talk to them about the cream.
You sent me home with the cream.
Which, by the way, is exactly the way I do this.
I know. I need to talk to you about cream, too. So you sent me home with the cream, and I had always been using one.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, it's time to switch it up. You gave me a different one that was at the same price point, and it made me, like, itchy. And so I texted you. You're like, no problem. Come on back. Let me give you this other cream. I'm like, okay. I take the cream. In like 5 days, I text you. I'm like, dude, what is this? Is there like unicorn tears in this? Like my skin looks phenomenal. And you're like, yeah, so that's the difference between a $60 cream and a $120 cream. And I was pissed because I knew she was right.
That's true. Also, I tried to sell her this $100 cream.
The whole time.
Yeah. And I was like, but this is better for you. This is the best option for you. I'm doing a disservice by not selling this to you.
You hoodwinked me.
And, so Alex will use that cream when she can afford it.
Yeah.
And she has a goal set to get back on it.
Heck yeah. When those 50 members are back, girl, I'm going to be up on this bed.
So this is sometimes a way that you can get people into that particular product. That service, that thing that they find it's like unattainable, but they want it. Because then they also have a goal that they're looking for. And it's with you and not with something at Sephora or not something with somebody else's whatever. They're going to a gym or whatever. Right. They're thinking about you and what their future is with you. They have goals for you.
Well, and be talking about their goals. It's about them, not about you.
Yeah, exactly. You want them to have those goals.
Yeah.
But you want them to talk about you.
Right. Well, yeah. But I'm just, what somebody wants out of their skin. So, let me give you something that gets you there. And then I'll tell you, and so by the way.
Right. You listened to what they wanted. And by the way, Alex never said, I want to make sure my cream has these scientific things in it. She was just
I don't even know.
I want to look pretty and glowy, and I just want to use a few products.
I still don't know what's in these weird potions and lotions you give to me.
Oh my gosh, this episode is going to wind up moving into 2. I bet it is. There's so much information in this. Okay.
Yes.
So when you chose to go down, in price, you decided to go down in price.
Yes.
You went to your group and asked them?
So I asked people who had gone through the enrollment period and didn't buy. So they had seen all of the marketing, they had experienced it, but didn't decide to purchase, and I wanted to know why. So I send out a survey. You easily could do this. I think we've talked about it. Yeah. Call them up on the phone, ask them right there. Was it anything I said? Like, why did you decide that now's not a good time? And I actually just sent that out again today. Right. So I'm interested to hop on and see what people said. And so that gives you a little bit of research into what your clients are thinking. And you really want it to be vague and open-ended because you want to see what they're going to tell you. So not leading questions, why is now not a good time?
Right.
Is there anything else you would like to see this include? Or, something like that.
Yep.
To keep it open-ended.
Yeah, we should do a whole episode on that because I've got stuff about surveys.
Yeah. And then another thing I just wanted to touch upon, too, was something that I realized when this concept of, your price is too damn high came up was market research.
Yeah.
Because I was sort of thinking, too, there are people out there who do what I do in a very similar way. In fact, one of my clients decided to join my membership after she sent me an Instagram ad of somebody literally doing the exact same thing. And I just responded back movement is movement. I don't know what you want to tell me. Right. I'm just I know what I'm fucking doing.
You're thanks, man.
Yeah. And she's like, okay, I'm in. And I was like, oh, shoot. Okay, cool. That's cool. But she charges $27. For one time, and that's it. And that's not what I'm about to do. So market research isn't let me look at your price and charge what you're charging, but more so I had to rethink of the model of a personal trainer one-on-one versus just going to the gym, which is in the fitness world, I think something that people kind of understand, right? You're either going to go to a gym and work out by yourself or maybe go to a boutique class and do a class, or you're going to hire a trainer and do the one-on-one. Not everybody wants to hire a trainer and do the one-on-one or spend that type of money. So I restructured my pricing to give them that here's your group class option and here's your more high-touch one-to-one
So
option.
You went to your competition and were to break it down, you went to your competition and said, what is my competition doing?
Yeah.
And I think that they're actually doing well.
Yeah.
And the things that how they're charging for it. And then how do my skills and what I'm providing compare? And then what are my clients kind of looking at as my competition as well? Did you look at because you had the one client, did you have anybody else come to you and say this is what I'm looking at?
Not really.
Okay.
Also, I'm just trying to think. There are not a lot of people who do specifically what I do in the realm of let me help you get stronger without pain.
Right.
Right. In the world of here's a new workout class. You have YouTube. It's completely free. There's bajillions of videos. Right. A lot of apps like Peloton, which has way more content than I'm putting out, is $15 a month. It's not, but we're not doing the same thing.
And that's once again, we're talking about. So one of the things that I think when we talk about competition is that I would say no one is actually your competition. You're going to look at people who are doing the same thing you are. And by the way, when you look at them, try to stay happy because if they're doing something that's awesome, do it. Be thank you so much for that idea. I'm totally doing that too.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I'm so glad. And I'm glad you're successful at it because I want to be successful too. Okay. So you look at your competition and you say, what are they successfully doing? What did they seem to not be successfully doing? And then can I make that item successful? Some of my best ideas have actually come from somebody who's not actually doing something successfully, but like the idea is actually completely sound.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's like my business launched from being frustrated with how somebody else was running their business.
Totally. So when you're looking at your competition, understand that that's kind of what you're looking for. And when you're putting down pricing for things, I think it comes to a couple of things. One is it's knowing how much people are willing to pay, how much your service is actually, like how much it actually physically costs to do it. Yes. And that means your time as well.
Yes.
People do not use time well enough. And then how much you believe you're worth.
Yeah.
So let's talk about worth for a second, because this is a big one.
Although I just had this light bulb. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not charging enough because it costs $20 to ship and then my time, and they better stay in for at least 3 months to pay for this. Okay. So we were talking about, like what books, helped you get to where you need to go. And I mentioned this at the top of the episode about the book You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. I'm sure that there are many other books that kind of get you to the same place. But what I can tell you after like 18 months on the struggle bus and really truly having my confidence in the toilet, and like, you guys, I took on a part-time job that pays minimum wage, okay? Like, it was dark. What it all came back to was that if you are saying to yourself, well, I can't charge that, or that's too much, it has nothing to do with pricing. It has nothing to do with your services. It has everything to do with your confidence in yourself and how you show up as a business owner, how you show up as a person. And if you don't feel worthy of being able to accept the amazing things in life, then you're never going to be able to charge what you want to charge.
Yeah.
And so do that work, do the internal work. That book had a ton of great exercises and prompts and really like questions that got me thinking that like, oh my God, I just read 50 self-help books that were all these like peripheral problems, when really it all came down to that I didn't feel that I was deserving of it.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling that way, like, number one, you're not alone.
You're totally not alone.
Number two, it's a roller coaster. Some days are good, some days are bad. That's what being an entrepreneur is.
Yep.
But if you don't feel like you are good enough to charge what you're worth, no additional training, no additional book, no additional piece of equipment is ever going to help you feel that way. It has to start from you first.
Absolutely. And I know that for a lot of people, so when I have conversations about raising prices, 'cause I tell people to raise their prices.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I see the best of the best. And I will literally be like, I can't believe I'm paying you. We have a massage therapist friend. I can't believe I'm paying you $100 to come in for like an hour of your time when you are like the best massage therapist I've ever worked with in my life. And I'm like, you should raise your prices. Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'm worth that. And I just, did you say worth? I don't think people will pay that. Wait, what? I just said you were the best of the best, right? This conversation happens over and over and over again. If you find that if you say, I don't think I'm worth it, or I don't think it's worth it. If it's not worth it, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
I can't charge that much.
I can't charge that much. Look to yourself, because you know what? I broke my business twice successfully. And guess what? There were times, and I am very confident, I felt like I had done the wrong thing, and I was broken. And yet I just kept keeping on, because I do believe in my worth. And that was never a problem. So you need to believe in your worth too.
And we believe in you.
We totally believe in you. And it totally works, because Alex went from like feeling like crap to being
literally like 479% more rich now.
Right? It's totally doable.
It's absolutely doable.
It's totally doable. So you're also one of those people who are like, I mean, I'm worth all of it, but I still can't get paid. Okay. Look at your pricing. Alex is amazing. And I was like, you should charge all the money. Well, maybe she found out she had to charge a little less money, or it's how she talked about how she's charging. Look at the whole picture when you're pricing things.
Yeah.
How are you talking about it? What is your clientele? What kind of clientele do you want? What kind of clients are worth to you? What else should they be looking at?
I think also like the neighborhood that you're in, which also comes down to like what type of clients you're working with, $197 for me. Like, a lot of my clients come from places where they don't have access to the types of people we have access to here in California, especially in Los Angeles.
Ohio, Kentucky.
Yes.
Places
Indiana,
like that. Yeah.
Wisconsin. Like, I have a lot of clients from the middle of the country.
Right.
So $197 is outrageous when your rent is like $600. Like, I get that now. So think of that too. Like, who are the types of people I'm working with? What are their circumstances? And this is important to a point. Because ultimately, if somebody is ready and willing to work with you, if you are grounded in your worth and what you're bringing to the table, and really it's more of a, this is really great if you want it, rather than you need to buy this thing. If they're committed, they'll put down whatever it takes to get the results that you are promising.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So stay out of their pockets, but also be aware of their situation.
So Alex always says stay out of their pockets, and I'm always like, get your fingers in their pocket. It's very different though. So she's talking about staying out of like their head pocket. Like they had like,
oh, well, she has to pay for childcare and her kid's in private school and she's in a divorce. Like, not your problem.
Their money is being spent somewhere, and I'm always like, put your hand deep into that pocket and get some of that, because they're spending it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, you can be helping them more because you are ultimately what they want. They don't want the new Fendi bag. That is not real. They want to feel like the person in Instagram who has a Fendi bag.
Yes. It's all about how you make them feel.
That's correct. That's so true. Such good wise words from us today.
I know. Well, and that book, Storybrand, I looked it up. Donald Miller is his name. It really is like, don't make yourself the hero of the story. And that's what he talks about. Like, all of your favorite stories, there's a guide who gets them to where they need to go. Like, you're the guide. You're there to give them the map. This is what you have to do. As long as you adhere to it, I can get you to where you want to go. Let's do this together.
Right. They are the, I think it's Heather's, where it's like, I can't remember. No, it's I cannot remember. There's some movie, and it's romantic comedy, where they're like, I want to be, it's The Holiday. I want to be the person who's the lead in my movie. All right. I don't want to be the sidekick anymore.
Right.
Right. You're technically their sidekick.
Yeah.
You're their sidekick. You're their Robin to their Batman.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, I've got all the equipment and the tools. I'm here for you when you need me. And they're like, I'm going out to be epic.
Yeah. Or like the Hey Mitch to your Katniss.
Yes.
Right?
I'm old person.
The Yoda to your Luke Skywalker.
Oh my God. We all want to be Baby Yoda though. Oh my God. So
everybody
cute.
wants to be, actually it's the child. It's like not Yoda.
It's the child. Yeah,
like, it's a Yoda species.
It's a Yoda species. I know JJ's all angry about this situation.
I still don't have Disney Plus. I'm so pissed.
You should just use mine. I totally have Disney Plus.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. What is it called? Hipster internet. Hipster cable. Hipster cable. Let's talk about raising prices as well. So a lot of times people will be like, they feel like they have to excuse themselves for raising prices. I'm going to touch on this just for a second. Ooh. We will probably do a whole episode on raising prices.
Yes.
But I want to touch on this in case you never hear it anywhere else. You never apologize for raising your prices.
No.
The only thing you do is say, I understand.
Ooh.
I understand. They just want to vent at you. They just want to vent at you about the pricing. That's cool. That's fine. But you never give them excuses or reasons. Starbucks does not say, oh, well, coffee beans are so expensive.
We're sorry.
Right. Coffee beans are the price that they are. Life is the price they are. We all know things go up in price.
Like avocados.
So crazy. Blood diamonds of Mexico.
Oh my gosh.
So just make sure that you feel confident in yourself. So once again, it's your worth. And
it all comes back to your worth.
I did want to talk about that for a second, because I do find that people they're like, I'm really sorry. And then I tell them all these reasons. I'm like, no, stop.
No. And if you can't talk about it without giving all these reasons, put a pin in it. Yeah. Pause, go back, do the internal work to figure out, what's going on inside you, so that you can show up and, here's what the price is. Take it or leave it. I really like working with you. I understand. Right.
And we, if you need somebody to help you with that, hey, we're here. Ask us. We're here. We're here. That's what I do with mentees.
We're going to tell you raise your prices.
We're going to tell you to raise your prices.
And sometimes I've talked about this too before. It's still to this day, every morning in my journal, I write down, I am worthy of the very best in life, and I lovingly give myself permission to accept it. If that's what it takes, if you have to say it to yourself and write it to yourself enough times until you start to believe it, then do it. Because that stuff works, and you have to believe it first. There's nothing that's going to happen outside of you that is going to, then you'll be like, oh, now I'm ready.
Yes, it's true.
It's not how it works.
It's true. And then I think we have one more thing on this list before we talk about books. Discounting. Discounting. So we kind of touched on discounting for a second. We're going to discuss it one more time. So
BOGO sale?
Right. So discounting is something that I actually do not like doing. And I believe you're not a huge fan.
I'm not a huge fan, but I do offer discounts in enrollment periods that also are like, but here's the next thing. So one thing I'm thinking about is like I did a Black Friday sale for my retreat and I offered it at discount for the same price that members get. So it was kind of like, hey, you're getting this member perk. Nobody bought, so it probably didn't work anyways. But typically, like, I'm not Target, right? And Target can afford to put stuff on sale. And like, don't lie, you only buy stuff at Target when it's on sale.
It's true. So with pricing, people love discounts.
Yeah.
They do. So do price whatever you're pricing at a rate that you feel super confident with, that you could, if you ever needed to, discount for somebody. You don't have to do deep discounting. So like I have a micro channeling. I do micro channeling, and it is probably the most expensive thing that I do. It takes a lot of insurance to do it. I had to get a whole different license. I had to get there's a bunch of stuff around it because it's like has blood in it and stuff. I had to get a tattoo license. It was crazy.
Oh, I can get a tattoo from you now?
I know, clearly. I took the class online. I super know how to do it now. And so one of the things that I knew that when I started this is that I needed to price this at a level that paid for all of that, also that paid for the liability in case there was a problem.
Right.
Like, there generally isn't, but what if there was, right? So I needed to price at that. So this was a service there. They're like, okay, well, you could charge between like $2.99 and $3.99. I'm like, I'm charging $4.99 for that sucker. But if people buy it in a series, which most people do,
yes,
I'll drop $100 off on each one.
Yeah, but I feel like packaging isn't the same as discounting.
But technically it is.
I mean, technically it is, but again, it's how you package it.
It's true, but it is technically discounting. And in our world...
Right, but they're committing to multiples.
They are committing to multiples, and you have them paying up front. And do not look at me and be like, oh, but once in a while let them pay individually.
No. A package is a package,
Get
people.
the money now, because they will. They'll ask you like, well, could I pay for them? And no. Can I get a discount plan? No.
There's no cash discount. Oh my God.
No. The price is the price is the price. The price. Nobody goes to a restaurant and negotiates. You don't go to Chipotle and negotiate about your avocado.
I wish. Guac is always extra.
Yeah. So it's just how it is. That's pricing. So one of the things you can also think about with discounting is, like I said, I do specialized discounts for people. Mm-hmm. Let's say I have a person who wants to desperately try micro channeling, and she's talked about it a bunch of times and she just has not pulled the trigger. I'm going to look at her and be like, you know what? We should schedule micro channeling. I'm totally running a sale for you. By the way, for you.
For you.
I do say for you. It's quiet, but I do say for you. I'm totally running a sale for you right now on micro channeling. I'm going to give you the discounted price for the package price, and you just have to pay for the one. And I have got a ton of clients that way to do service that they were like, I'm afraid of like things in my face and there's stem cells and I don't know, so stuff like that. So yeah, discounting.
Yeah.
Have you done anything where you like give it like an incentive? Like essentially it's more of an incentive. It's more of an incentive package.
Yeah. I do it more for like one-on-one kind of stuff. Where I'm on the phone with somebody and I can make that decision in the moment.
Once again, you make it specifically catered to clients. I don't spread it out to my email list. I don't put it on Instagram. Like, as far as anybody knows, I don't discount crap ever. It's never discounted.
I think that's too is the thing about discounting. If it's done like forward facing, again, it's like the Target Sunday ad where everything's on sale and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy more toilet paper now because it's on sale. Like, you're not toilet paper. Yeah. So don't operate like you are toilet paper. Yeah, so do like a one-off incentive or a package or like I really like that of like the first one is going to be
buy one, get one, BOGO.
Yeah, or like another thing to think about and one thing I really like to do versus offering money off would be like packing extra value on that doesn't require any time or money on your part.
I like value.
Yeah, so like your deals should be so unbelievably good. Right. So what other things can you add on that people want that don't, again, cost you extra time and money?
Exactly. Yeah. And you've just got to sort that out for yourself, what those things are. And then the final thing about kind of like incentivizing is I do on on Yelp, I do you get $50 off your first service with me because that's an incentive essentially, but technically it's still a discount, but it's a one-time for that first client because you're incentivizing. But I do want to remind people that your existing clients are your people.
Yes.
And you should make sure you treat them they deserve discounts in their own way or whatever you do to make them feel special and give them bargains and whatever. And we have a whole episode about how you should dig deep on your own client list with discounts and bargains. Yeah. All right, let's talk about books for a second. Books.
We talked about, another book.
Yes.
This is more like accounting wise. So I don't know about you, but if you're the type of person where that money is in your account and you're like, ooh, let me go buy something, which is me, You Must Hide It From Yourself. A great book that walks you through a really clear process on how to do this is Profit First.
Yes.
Have you read it?
Yes, you made me read it. And I was like, this is great. I already do this life.
Right. You already do it. But I'm making my mom read it right now because she's like my accountability coach. And she's like, I get it. It's for people who just want to spend their money. I was like, hello, yes, this is me. Hi. So again, it's like, know yourself and just do what you have to do to help yourself.
This is the person who lives paycheck to paycheck, whatever, which is why you need to get into their pocket and get their money first because they're going to spend it elsewhere. One of the books that I really love is called The Shadow Negotiation. And this one it's by Deborah Kolb and Judith Williams. This one was a really good one. It's an older book now, but it's based on studies that are done about women and how women make less money. But we make less money because we're really shitty negotiators.
Yep.
We do not know how to negotiate.
Nope.
And so she actually
this all the time.
She actually talks about like how negotiating strategies specifically for women. And I'm sure this older book, I'm sure there's a ton of more information on the internet now. But she talks about how to learn how to make the most in business, you need to learn to negotiate. And I will tell you, it's 100% true because life is a negotiation. Even with your clients, sometimes it's a negotiation.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you have this book?
I do. I own this book.
Can I borrow it?
Yeah, if it's not in Oakland. But yes, you absolutely can. But it's a fantastic book. It actually changed the way I looked at like the world around me. And I was like, women are just as good as men and we're getting paid less because we're choosing to getting paid less. Yeah. It's kind of crap.
It's totally crap.
And from then on, I actually was never paid less.
So literally. All of us noted. We're going to go read that book.
So go ask for more money.
Another book. I just love this book. And after you read You Can Heal Your Life and you get your shit sorted out, read You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. I mean, she's just
awesome.
Yeah, she's funny. She's like irreverent. I
listen to this, and it's a great audiobook as well. If you're an audio person like I am, it's a great.
I might listen to it for like the 5th time. I don't know.
It's
feeling like it's time for it.
It's a really good like listen as well. She reads it and it's great.
Yeah,
it's great.
So check out those books. Go do some reading, and then let us know, what do we want to know this week?
I actually want to know if you have successfully raised prices.
Yeah.
If you have questions about prices, like specifically, like we're actually really good at pricing. We've done it a bunch now.
Yeah, now I can say I'm like really good at pricing.
And I'm pretty sure we're going to have an episode specifically on like how to handle specifics like menu increases. And we'll probably do some episodes on that.
Heck yeah.
So let us know what we didn't cover that you're like, I had this question still.
Yeah. So you can send us a DM or tag us on Instagram. We're at Skinfessional or at Your Skin Fitness Expert or at Halafamala.
Right. And you can always call us. I know nobody does anymore, but you're welcome to call us. We have a Skinfessional box. Yeah, it is. 818-473-5277.
The voicemail box.
So until next week.
Keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.